Just out of practice. It worked, and that's what matters. Your fever will now settle down to an endurable level, and maybe even vanish if you're careful. And now I suggest you return to Constantine. I will get the stones to safety in the meantime. You need anything else? If not, see you later. We're going to meet again. I can feel it. Well, put simply, they're supposed to protect us. But old Oranthiel will tell you more about it later. Take care.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You do not...
Huh? This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong here.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well... Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work, even though part of her report seemed to be a bit... enthusiastic. But I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest. Oh yes? Well then listen carefully. Lucy probably hasn't told you, but the ritual was as dangerous for her as it was for you. In other words, she and all of us have risked a lot for your healing. Also, she seems to see something special in you. Heck knows why, but she does. So at least have the decency to listen to what Aranthiel wants to tell you. He is in the Emporium of the Temple. Just tell the guard who you are, and they will let you in. Ah yes, before I forget, my dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies? Very well, now get a move on. I'm sure we'll talk again later.
Well met. Need something?
It is a suspicion, Teela. And to send an entire division...
Have you heard? Apparently the Blue Islands Coalition sent an emissary here to Enderal.
We need to find out who sent them. Mercenaries.
They are bold.
This
Gotta give them
Pegast
that.
said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to stop the cycle.
The cycle. Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad... dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Teela, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You have made this mistake before, Teela, back then in Kira. And we
Natara,
all know
the mission will happen. I'm sorry.
you have a visitor.
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. Interesting. I am Teela Aranthiel, son of Lorius I and Grand Master of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name? Yes, and I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, And to achieve this, you are indispensable. Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Vin is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds, to name only the most obvious. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I. I do, and I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me. Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Narazul Aranthiel. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim. I still do not know why he spared me. Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim, I also had them for the first time, the dreams. I always saw the same glaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside. And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of imminence. At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountains somehow. 2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if... Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. And he said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory. A collective subconscious. Yes, I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers in the remains of the civilization that was before us, the Pyreans. 3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyreans. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end. I see why you would say that, and I felt the same way for a very long time too. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vind was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyreans had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The two castes of the Sun Priest. They too ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing. They tried, but they failed. Who knows why? Maybe they found out too late, or maybe they were too weak. That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was not violent, at least not in a sense as we know it. There was no natural disaster, no magical explosion, no plague. Even though there was war in the Pyrean Empire before its ruin, when the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. It is ghastly. Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well. Yes, the Pyreans call them the emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. And I am one of them, as are you. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophet. It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly. No, as I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. We are determined by our skills. How and to what end we use them is our choice. On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume you have already realized this. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future. Your visions are a window into the past, and as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with, and because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us, and it is why I want your help. That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die? Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our order, and to do so, you have to pass a test, a trial. It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival. I had a hunch. Let us leave it at that. I have only a slight acquaintance with them. However, I know that they are both very talented and have been working hard toward the test. But see them for yourself. At the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood, they will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this package. And then follow his orders. Ah, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death of the Lightborn to yourself. I do not believe you can do any real harm, but in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter, if and how we tell our people about it. But not now, that is for sure. Now, leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You do not belong here.
Yes? Mr.
just sit on their asses and hope things settle themselves. Idiots.
Monsieur?
Be careful, my sir. The streets aren't safe at this hour.
Monsieur? Yes?
So much to do, so little time.
Walk blessed, friend. Where are you headed? About my... In the time before the Blood Moon Revolt. Oh, well, and through those clicking sounds, I also... Sure. Where to? Good evening. Sure. Where to? Already dark. Oh my. Good evening.
Yes. Oh, yes. You're the prodigy. I was expecting something else. I hope you're aware of what you're getting yourself into. Our novices trained for years for this trial. And as much as I respect the Grand Master, I think this is naive. In other words, it will be dangerous. Be aware of that. Oh, look at that. It's a bold swashbuckler. But fine, as you like. Then it seems I'm granted the extraordinary honor of exalting the first pathless in the history of the Order to a keeper. The others will scream for joy. Give me the package the Grandmaster gave you, and say hello to your new comrades. I have to go prepare something.
What? Oh, hello. You're our unexpected addition, aren't you? The prodigy? It does, actually. I'm Kalia Sakaresh, by my path novice and aspirant to the First Sigil. I've been told what you did in Old Rationgrad, that you saved the excavations and fought back the mercenaries all on your own. An astonishing feat, truly. You have my respect for that. Maybe, yes. Sometimes death is the only logical consequence of our actions. You know, I'm really curious as to what the mercenaries thought they were doing. Someone willing to attack the Holy Order is either extremely powerful or extremely naive. Anyway, it's been an honor to meet you in person. Let's talk later.
I don't want to hear it. You're prattling. I don't want to hear it. Just shove off. You have to ask? This country is going downhill, and you are living proof of it, my friend. First, Nevermere's wild mages are allowed to walk on the holy temple grounds as if it were some kind of brothel. Then mercenaries are hired, and now you, an outlander, a pathless, are able to be initiated into the sigils of the Holy Order. We've trained for years to stand here, and until now, I thought that this country respected its traditions. That's my problem. Now get out of my sight.
All right, enough of the chatter. Come here. Here. These potions will be necessary later, so be careful with them. Apart from that, it's still a few miles to the ritual place. As you're all gifted with magic, the spores in the forest ahead will make you a little dizzy, but we won't stay for long. Any questions? Long story. Simply put, they come from a special kind of mushroom that has infested this forest, and staying near them worsens the arcanist's fever. So, in case you're thinking about exploring further, take some magical protection and some ambrosia with you. Good. Stay close to me.
So this is the Whispering Forest. Fascinating. I've read a lot about it, but never actually seen it.
Poor thing. My brothers and I have seen the border countless many times before. But I bet you know all about the Undercity's rat holes instead.
So this is the Whispering Forest. Fascinating. I've read a lot about it, but never actually seen it.
Poor thing. My brothers and I have seen the border countless many times before.
Prepare yourself.
Undercity threats.
That was
Old figures. More of them.
there.
What? That's all you got? Wait, do you see that?
Yes, that man. What is he doing?
Who cares? He's
He shouldn't be here. No merchant in his right mind would voluntarily travel through the Whispering Forest. We'll go take a look at him. Stay ready. I see it.
She's with me now, forever.
Kirosh!
What in? You there? Who are you, and what are you doing here?
She's with me now, forever.
What are you, deaf? Identify yourself.
His eyes. Master, this is the Red Madness.
Shit, of course. You will put away that pickaxe right now, my sir, and then get on your knees.
She wanted to leave. Don't you understand? She wanted to leave me, just like that.
This is
No, she will stay. She...
By the righteous path! Have you lost your mind?
I could ask you the same thing. Mitt, did you forget what Magister Yarrow did to the novices? This man could have attacked us at any moment.
Oh, really? Malphus, protect us from your cunning. But did the thought ever cross your mind that one needs to understand a disease in order to heal it? And that from a pop Carey might have given their left hand for a living patient?
You're not being fair, Master. I was only protecting...
Like heck you did. You behaved like an idiot. And not for the first time. The other masters might ignore that fact due to your religious commitment and your bloodline. I get that. But if something like this ever happens again, you will be suspended from the rites and will spend the rest of your life polishing prayer banks in the sanctum. Do I make myself clear?
He really was trying to protect us, Master. Maybe...
Do I make myself clear?
You do, Master. And I beg your forgiveness for my offense.
Granted. Now let's push on. We will take care of the body after the ritual.
Are you okay?
Just save it.
Here it is, the first foothold. This is where Malphus's vassals erected their first camp, so behave yourselves accordingly. You too, prodigy. Well then, before we start, there's something I need to tell you. Something, important. The rumors concerning the deaths of the Lightborn, they're true.
What?
The gods are dead. They fell 2 winters ago beneath the sword of an unknown traveler. We, that is, the Order, have known about this for quite some time now, but haven't told the common people yet. But since the 3 of you intend to take the trial, there's no way to disguise the truth anymore.
But how can a god die?
There was a prophecy, as old as the Lightborn themselves, in which there was talk of a shadow god, who would end the era of gods. And it came true. I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
You're telling us that the gods have been killed, and you are sorry. What's next? That tomorrow the sun will stop shining? Tell us that this is a test, Master. It is, isn't it? A test of our faith.
No, the Lightborn are dead. But, hard as it may be to accept, we cannot afford to fall into a spiritual
Who the heck
crisis
is we?
right now.
The Order of the Gods, Malthus's order, was created to protect the Lightborn. And if what you're saying, this blasphemy is true, then we're meaningless. We failed, don't you see that? Oh, by the Black Guardian, I just can't believe it.
And though I shan't be seen, thou shalt live by my virtue. 3rd Revelation, verse 137. I know it's hard, Dunmore, but if this is true, we have to show strength and keep on believing in what the Lightborn stood for, which is the idea of peace and...
Oh, just shut your mouth, Sakaresh. If anything, you lowborn scum are living proof that the Order is going downhill. Do you really think I don't know about the village? You're a damned witch, and if this were the old times, you would have been crucified long time ago.
You don't mean that, Dunmore.
Drop it, for heaven's sake! We're all on the same side here.
No, we are not. This wench doesn't have any right to wear the white robes. And if you would spend more time with the Holy Scriptures instead of your brandy bottle, you would see it as well. But no, you just...
Shut up! I swear to you, one more word and you will wish that I just suspended you.
But...
No buts. Do you understand?
Yes.
I hope so, for your sake. Just be glad that this is a time when we need skilled mages more than ever. Just be glad. Now enough of this. Our demeanor defiles this sacred place. There will be enough time for depression and personal crisis after the trial. Let's recite the holy words. Thou art my light, my glimmer at the horizon. Thy name is my sacrament, and thy path I will honor. In life as in death.
May
your light guide me.
Good. As you know, this trial will test the fortitude of your spirit. Because this is what distinguishes a keeper from a soldier. What distinguishes a wise man from a fool. Keep that in mind. Now, drink the potion I gave you. You first, Prodigy. Let's hope the Grand Master was right about you.
Oh no. No, no, no. I knew I wouldn't be the last one. Did they also tell you the tales about the Keeper's spirit? They've lured you into a trap, you know. And you fell for it. Because you're arrogant. Just as I am. As I was. At least not according to your definition of the word. But then again, what is reality anyway? If I told you that you and your friend Sirius actually lie dead at the bottom of the sea, and that everything that has happened so far, your journey to Ark, the search at the Sun Coast, was only a dream, would you be able to recognize the truth? The answer is no. Because you don't want to be dead. Therefore, your mind will do anything to make you believe this entire dream you've had was and is reality. Doesn't it? Tell me, what is time to the dead and dreaming anyway? The last second before the water floods into your lungs. The very last instant before it tears them apart. In your mind, it could be an eternity. A self-created sanctuary built from nothing but your wishes. But what's the point in talking anyway? You don't want to believe me. And I'm tired of trying to make you. Now leave me alone before we make the suppressor even angrier. He doesn't like words. He likes the silence. What? They haven't told you about him? Oh, that's so typical. The suppressor. He's the reason why we will be imprisoned here forever, and why we can't access our feelings and wishes. And he does it because he wants us to lose hope, to stop believing. And, you know, sometimes I wonder if that's exactly what we humans, what I have to do to finally be free. Give up. Detach myself from the dreams of the past. Who knows if there were anything else than phantasms to begin with. But no. No, not yet. It's too early to surrender. And isn't that what makes us human anyway? To hope? And to just keep on waiting for that one miracle that will end the pain once and for all? Yeah, I'll wait. And you will wait with me forever. What the? How did you do that? You simply opened it? But that's impossible. All these years it's kept me from escaping, and you just... Come on. We have to look. We have to look and see what's outside. We won't get far, but still we have to see. Come, lead the way. The gods! These are the scourges of the suppressor! They want to punish us! Everything here looks so similar. It's a damn maze. Oh, really? We should never have left. This is our doom. No. Do you see it? All the cells, they're all empty, and there's blood. Oh no. There were people in there just like us. They didn't know their place either, and now they're dead. They've simply dissolved because they dared to disobey the suppressor. By the gods, this is what will happen to us too. I knew it was a mistake to leave in the first place. What? The suppressor's punishment. It will... No, you haven't. Because you're blind. The suppressor is here, in every single stone, in every bone, in every drop of blood, and yet you are too blind to see it. But I should have known. I mean, what can you expect from someone who has killed his entire family? I followed you because for a brief moment, you made me want to believe, and now you've dragged me into the abyss along with you. Ugh. Of course I'm a part of you, and you are a part of me. Isn't that obvious? But I should have known you wouldn't understand. You're too weak. You always were. No, there isn't. Just look at us. Look at what we are. We are the damned because we are trapped too deeply in the past. And that's why we do not deserve freedom. Suppressor's punishment. It will be horrible. Well, well. So you figured it out. Yes, I am what keeps you in this place. But was it blind rage that made you act, or have you truly understood who I am? Have you understood what drives you and determines your actions? The salt corrodes your skin, and the water in your lungs is cold. But you still haven't found it, child, have you?
Oh, hey. Good to see you awake. How are you feeling? Good question. The room was empty when I came here. Actually, that's quite weird now that you mention it. The entire temple seemed kind of deserted. Probably a ceremony or something like that. Now, tell me, how are you holding up? I heard this trial's quite the feat. Apparently some of the novices never wake up again. In the temple, the curarium to be precise. You were brought here when you were traveling with that Ixon guy. I think the others are already awake, but I didn't want to leave you here, so I thought I'd just stay. I mean, hey, you are a keeper of the first sigil now, aren't you? I believe congratulations are in order. Don't mention it. Bad, though, that this keeperness won't get you anywhere. Do you know why? Because you're pathetic. Simply pathetic.
I said you are pathetic. At first we believed it would be more exciting this time. But now that we've seen the new prophet, our hopes are gone. You're a joke.
A nobody who let his only friend kick the bucket.
As if you'd ever accept that. You humans are always so damn persistent, aren't you? Why? Why can't you just let go?
Because in the end, you are powerless, just as all those before you. And you, prophet, you are the biggest joke of all.
You are nothing but an urchin.
A weakling.
And a murderer.
And that is why you will burn. All of you. The cleansing will happen, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Is that so? Such presumption from a fish who thinks his pondering the world. The world is an interplay of cause and effect, and the only logical consequence of your existence is annihilation. That's the way it was, and that's the way it's going to be. But enough of the banter, urchin. We wanted to meet you, and so we did, even though the result is rather Sumerian. Now wake up. Keep on stumbling through the mist.
Thank Malphus. I was starting to think I was the only one. How are you? You look exhausted. Of course, sorry. That remark was a little redundant. But it's good to see the Grandmaster was right after all. I woke up just a few hours earlier, and he was here in the meantime. He didn't doubt for a single second that you would make it. But I suppose mutual congratulations are in order. We made it. We passed the trial. Almost, yes. All that is left to do is to take the oath, and then Grandmaster Aranthiel will exalt us to the keepers of the first sigil. Speaking of whom, he also told me some things while you were asleep. About the Pyreans, about these dreams, and of course, about this cycle. This is so bizarre, really. At first we're told out of nowhere that the gods have died, and now humanity is on the brink of extinction. This is a lot to take in. Hard to say. I never had those dreams the Grandmaster talked about, even though I'm magically gifted. But then again, I always had the feeling that the Red Madness was more than an ordinary disease. Well, I suppose all of this explains a lot. At least now I can understand why the Grandmaster was willing to break all the traditions of the Order just to get you exalted to be a keeper. According to him, most of our battle against the cycle will stand or fall with you. Yes, I believe that. It's a great responsibility you've been given, and as impressive as your skills are, I would not want to change places with you. Well, as I said, we both have to take the Holy Oath. You should talk to the Grandmaster as soon as you're ready. He's waiting for you in the Emporium. Right. Dunwar. The apothecary examined him about an hour ago, and it doesn't look good. It's likely that he'll never wake up again. No, in spite of everything. You know, Dunwar was one of those people who tried to gild their insecurity with boastful behavior. The reality is that he was the last of his bloodline, and his faith in the path and his destiny as a keeper were all that he had left. And who knows, maybe he would have been a great help to the Order with the right guidance. But I guess Master Bartar's revelation was just too much for him. It's hard to be told that everything you've lived for was a lie. Well, maybe I just don't show it as much. But yes, in a way, you're probably right. I suppose that's mainly due to the fact that to me, as opposed to Dunwar, the Order always stood for an idea. And an idea doesn't die with the one who first thought of it. Funny that the Grandmaster said nearly the same thing during the exaltation. Dunwar would have considered it blasphemy. I knew the question would come eventually. I suppose the answer depends on whether you're in the mood for some gloomy talk. Sooner or later, you'll hear it from someone else anyway, so why not from me first? As you wish. Where should I start? Maybe with the fact that I don't remember anything that happened before my 6th winter. I don't know where I was born, and I never got to know my parents. I wish I knew. What I do know, though, is that the first memory I have is of waking up in the middle of some village. It was dark, and I felt dizzy and, I don't know, empty? That's probably the best way to describe it. I eventually found the strength to get up and look around, and, well, that's when I realized what was actually going on around me. The entire village. It had been destroyed. There were corpses everywhere. Men, women, children, and the houses had been crushed as if some mad god had rampaged through the streets there. And it had all just happened hours before because the destruction was still fresh. Whatever it was, I didn't have much time to think about it. As soon as I got up, I saw 3 riders coming through the smoke. One of them got off his horse, ran towards one of the corpses, and started screaming something in my direction. Then I felt a blow on the back of my head, and I lost consciousness. By the name of the sun, it's strange to talk about it like this. It's been so long, but the memory feels as if it had happened yesterday. It's okay. Anyway, It turned out that the riders were men from the village who had gone hunting. They must have observed the whatever it was from the distance and ridden back to the village. At least I think that's how it went. I guess I'll never find out. The reason they thought I was somehow involved is that the village priest found me a couple of days before it happened near a shrine in the wilderness. Apparently, I was wearing torn clothing, and no matter what the apothecary tried, he couldn't wake me up from my comatose sleep. And it seems that made the riders think I was some kind of witch child, or unholy beast, whichever you prefer. For you, maybe. For them, as simple people, it was probably the best explanation they had. And think about it, it's not that far off. A motherless child who neither talks nor breathes steadily is found abandoned on the roadside and has a strange mark on her face. They leave to go hunting, and when they come back, they find their village in ruins with that foundling child being the only survivor. You have to admit, it's not that much of a stretch, even if those men hadn't been superstitious farmers. Probably. Truth be told, I try not to think about it too much. And actually, it doesn't matter, because I somehow managed to get away before they could do anything. I even made it to Ark all by myself, which didn't turn out to be much of an improvement in the end, because I was pathless. Yes. Thinking about it now, I actually wonder how I made it through my time down there. But maybe that's one of the advantages of being a child. You don't think. You just act. Still, the winters down there were cruel, and if Master Tyrus hadn't found and taken care of me, I probably wouldn't have made it through my second year. Yes, otherwise I would not be here. He saw me, and he knew what he had to do, is how he put it. Of course, the Order wasn't too happy about a pathless child in the Scuola, just as some aren't happy about you being here. But Tyrus was a highly regarded man, and that's why they let it slide. That's right, we do, but we are both still pathless, and that disqualifies us according to the holy verses. I guess now you understand why I was never as connected to Malphas's teaching as Dunwar was. To some of the Keepers, I am still an outcast, and no matter what I do, I always will be. It does, yes. But then, he had lost both his wife and daughter 5 years before he found me, so maybe I was some kind of substitute. I don't know. But in the end, it doesn't matter. I owe him everything. He was a good man, and that's all that matters. Yes, and now I'm here. Well, here we've reached the end of my impressive tale. I hope you liked it. No, I guess I'm not. Gone. He was very old, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. But he does, yes, and he's not alone in his opinion. One of those hunters recognized me in the market my first year as a novice, and you can imagine that it was easy pickings for those who were already against my presence in the Order. From then on, they added names to the derogatory stares. Demon Child, Witch, whatever they could come up with. Maybe. But everything I'm capable of is the fruit of hard work, though they will never acknowledge that. You know what's funny? To some extent, I'm glad to be who I am. That way, people just leave me alone, and that gives me more time to focus on what's important, on my goals. Several, but I'd say that's enough of the gloomy stories, don't you think? There will be plenty of time for chatter in the future. Maybe. Yes. All of the Dalmordans fell victim to the great flesh maggot plague of 8215. Actually, it was almost sad to see him running around and boasting about his nobility, though everyone knew that without the help of the Order, he would have probably ended up living in a shack in the Undercity. If you can call that living. You should. It's already late, but if you want, I can show you the most important places in the temple before you go to the Emporium. What do you think? Good. Then get your gear from the chest by your bed and we'll go. Yes? Well then, let's go.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
Alright, this is the sanctum. It's a place of silence and prayer, and also where we'll be exalted later.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You do not belong here. Thou art my light.
I have to remember that.
My glimmer at the horizon. Thy name is my sacrament, and thy path I will honor. In life, as in death.
Greetings.
I think you've seen this place before. We call this part of the temple the Chronicum, and in here is gathered the knowledge of the Order, written down in books and parchments. Plus, all of the experiments and research on artifacts and magic is done here, so it's a place you'll probably see often in the near future. Ah, and just below the Chronicum is the temple smithy. You should go there if you need equipment. Over there, that's the Scuola and the quarters, where both the keepers and the novices live. There's also a training room, where everything from swordplay to marksmanship can be trained and taught. You will find some skilled teachers there. Well, I think that's about it. You've already been to the Emporium, and I assume to the Eye of the Gods as well. I suggest you speak to the Grandmaster as soon as you're ready to take the oath. Prepare myself, probably. Now walk blessed. I will see you soon.
And you actually believe this could work? It sounds absurd.
Have you heard? Apparently the Blue Islands...
The mercenary, he might not
Prophet, good to see you. How do you feel?
He's better than most of your men.
You've never been in any danger. If I had doubted your abilities, even to the slightest, I would have never spoken out for you. In any case, all that is left to do now is to recite the oath. Then we will finally deal with the more urgent matters. The ceremony needs a little preparation. Even if it hurts to lose more time, the cleansing approaches. I can feel it. Just this night I had another of the dreams. People I knew, including you. But these people weren't themselves. There was something else, and it spoke through them. They mocked us and said our struggle against the cycle was pointless. It was peculiar. I believe that these beings are connected to the cycle. They must be the ones who cause it. You did? That is interesting. It must be related to our roles as emissaries. Maybe there is a connection between us. None. Maybe they are demons or magical entities of some kind, but they are different from everything I know. In any case, if they are indeed responsible for the cycle, they are our enemies. That's what matters for now. Come back tomorrow for the ceremony. Yes. Why do you ask? They did. What are you getting at? A fair point. But in the future, just be upfront. I do not like such veiled remarks. So, yes, my time in the prison was harsh. The hunger, the degradation, to name the most obvious. The worst, however, was the isolation. Ironically enough, that was the last thing I had expected, you know. From all the suffering there is, it seems so banal. But it isn't. You either find ways to cope with it, or it breaks you. Fortunately, I managed to do the former. For me, it was memories of the time before my incarceration, the prospect of what would come after it. They were my window into the outer world, so to speak. They reminded me that I was more than this deprived creature I had become in those dungeons. Strange. Everything seemed too bright, too unreal. I especially felt that in the cloister with Narazul's mages. I had difficulty talking to other people, and whenever I did, it felt as if the others were like wax figures. Like some cruel joke put in front of my eyes in order to mock me. Better. Our mission, my responsibility here as a leader, it has helped me to find my way back into the real world. What would have been the alternative? A life as a fisherman? If the things I had to live through taught me one thing, then it was how important it is for me to be right here, right now, doing what I do. In fact, this is precisely what is missing in the world. People who do not let the whims of fate break their resolve. Now, enough of this. We have business to attend to. Yes. Why do you ask? In an old temple in the northern mountains of Nerim. It was a bastion of our order before Narazul's armies conquered it after the Battle of Triomar. Ironic, I know. Walk blessed, Prophet. It is time. Come forward, Prophet. I know what you are feeling. Mistrust. For it is the first time in the history of the Order that a stranger will receive the holy consecration. You consider it a treason against our charter, and therefore against us all. And indeed, it is true that traditions have strengthened the Order. We have ruled this land for millennia, and for millennia we have prevailed. And I know that what happened 2 years ago has unsettled you. Yes, We are in a crisis. Yes, our foundation seems to be shattered. And now you believe that I profane even what little is left by consecrating a pathless one. But you are wrong. It was always people who have given strength to the Order. People like you and me. Yes, we did serve the Lightborn, but because they embodied an idea. The idea of peace through stability. And even now, after their demise, we will pursue this idea. We are facing a threat that endangers the world as we know it. And to fight it, we need one thing above all others, the readiness to make sacrifices for the greater good. This man, like Novice Sakarish, has shown this readiness. He is talented and has a gift, and thus carries responsibility. But instead of running from this responsibility, he faced it and found us. Consecrated ones, repeat my words. This is the day when my old me dies away. For today, I receive the sigil.
This is the day when my old me dies away. For today I receive the sigil.
From now on, I live to protect, by sword and mind, the path, my land, and those who are without strength.
From now on I live to protect, by sword and mind, the path, my land, and those who are without strength.
Until death absolves me from my duty.
Until death absolves me from my duty.
Thus, you are elevated to keepers of the first sigil. Rise. Now let us all recite the holy words. Thou art my light, my glimmer at the horizon. Thy name is my sacrament, and thy path I will honor, in life as in death.
May your light guide
me. Leave now, brothers and sisters, and rest. We will need our strength. Go and get your armor at the temple's forge. After that, meet me in the Emporium. There's news. Ranks. After a novice has passed the trial, he is raised into the first sigil, and over the course of years, if he proves to be worthy, into higher ranks, up to the fourth sigil, which is held by the Truchessa and the Grandmaster, me. Walk blessed.
Pathlessness, wherever you look, where is this supposed to lead?
Walk blessed, prophet.
Now, where did I put that?
Now, a good pipe of peace, mate.
Huh. You're the one they call the prophet, right?
Well met.
Prophet?
The fabled prodigy. I hope you can live up to what they say.
Well met.
Murmuring, whispering, creaking and crackling. Can you hear the voices of the wood in the wind? Can you see the light as it shines through the treetops? ancient world seemed newborn in his eyes. No place could keep him. He yearned for the skies.
Yes.
He abandoned. In the way that Malthus foresaw, he followed a path of his own. And he strayed in the
Blazes, I just can't bloody believe it.
Despising the path that was meant just for him, yet the
Well met.
Sure. You'll have to pay normally, though. As much as the Grandmaster favors you, metal and work don't come for free. Ah, right. The highly debated new keeper. You suddenly have caused some uproar. I'll give you that. So, robes, mail, or plate? Fine, here you go. And no matter what you think of all this, wearing this armor is an honor. Get that into your head. Most of us had to wait decades for it. Walk blessed.
The fabled prodigy. I hope you can live up to what they say about you. I really do.
Of course they have. You know how these bureaucrats are.
Hello.
But they will do it.
Very good. Thanks for your efforts, my friend.
Don't mention it. I just hope you know what you're doing. You know, many see the course the Order has taken since you came back as disquieting. Narazul's mages in the temple, an outlander as a keeper. It's a lot to take in.
I know, Jorik, but someone has to deal with the threat. And if we don't, no one will.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Prophet, did you find your way around? Good. It is important that you get adjusted to this place. It will be the base of all operations to come. Right now, We are still in the dark as to the true nature of this cycle. All we have are fragments, but we will change that. There are 2 trails we have found. I want you to go after both of them. The first one has to do with the stone fragments from Old Rashengrad. Pegast has not yet told you, but all of them together form a so-called sigilled stone, which we urgently need. The Arcanists have already put it together, but we still lack a part of the ritual to activate it. And for that, we need the memory of a dead person. The second trail revolves around a discovery we made in the Heartland. It could be a significant, if not the only prospect we have in this fight. Where do you want to start? It's simple. I've told you that the Pyreans knew about the cycle, and that they too battled it before they vanished. The sigil stone was a magical defense they created to protect themselves from the Red Madness. Through small fragments that segregate once a certain ritual is performed on it. Bear one of these fragments and it will serve you like a shield for your spirit. The stone won't produce enough for all citizens of Ark, but enough for all of us keepers and the guard. The problem is that we lack knowledge about this ritual, and those who have it have been dead for millennia. Correct. The entire plan revolves around a discovery which is exhibited in the Chronicum. The frozen corpse of a Pyrean, which a fisherman found adrift in the Northern Sea some years ago. Yes, the ice prevented his body from decaying. But go to the Chronicum and speak to Archmagister Maragil. He will be able to explain it better than I can.
Well met.
Prophet? Huh?
There you are. Walk blessed.
Yes.
Have a moment?
Ah, greetings. Of course. What do you need?
The Archmagister ordered me to find out more about the Pyrean Civil War.
One day.
The one that took place shortly before the cleansing. That's your area of expertise, isn't it?
So what's so spectacular about this? To me, our pal here looks like your average crypt corpse.
Well, he isn't. Do you see this marking on his forehead? That's a symbol of the Ashian, one of the two priest castes who reigned over the Pyrean Empire like the Lightborn did over Vin. He was no high priest, but more than an acolyte. Let's just hope he participated in the manufacture of the sigil stone back in the Pyrean era.
Well, hoping can't hurt. But look, we have company.
Thalvarik, Archmagister, how's the situation?
Walk blessed, Grandmaster. We're fine. Everything is ready. So this is him?
Yes, this is the Prophet.
Interesting. Truly interesting. I imagined you to be different. I'm Lexiel Maragil, Archmagister of the Holy Order. Pleased to make your acquaintance. So, where do we start? Has the Grandmaster already informed you of the goal of this mission? Correct. Now you're wondering, how will this be possible? This is where the Word of the Dead comes into play. An old relic we'll need to find.
The Word of the Dead? I thought that was a legend.
No, it exists. And we also know where. Just so you understand, the Word of the Dead is an artifact that allows entering a deceased person's mind to relive his last memories as if they were your own.
And you want to do just that with our frozen pal here. This is the grand plan, right?
Right. You'll need to locate the Word of the Dead, teleport the Pyrean's body to you, and then enter his thoughts. And there you'll have to look for the words of the ritual. Well, this is...
There's an old manor in Enderal's West that belongs to an old collector of artifacts. We received a tip that the word of the dead is in his possession.
Hang on. Are you talking about this odd fellow with the puppets? The aged man from the folk song?
I am. You won't take it. It will be enough to find it. Use it on the Pyrean and then leave. You will travel to the manor with Dalvarik, wait for nightfall, and then introduce yourself to the aged man as a fellow collector of artifacts. Then you will offer him this brooch, and if all goes well, he will offer you a quarter for the night to negotiate in the morning. Then it's all a matter of timing. Sneak out of your room, look for the word of the dead, and teleport the Pyrean to you. Archmagister?
Yes? Well, that is a good point. We don't know, because we don't even know what the artifact looks like. But how goes the saying? The proof of the eating is in the pudding.
We'll manage somehow. And even if we don't, it definitely sounds like an adventure.
It's a great responsibility, be aware of that. But I have faith in both of you. Now get going as soon as you can. This mission will be fruitful. I can feel it.
Whew. And there they go. Yep, just meet me at the Myrids Tower at the Western Cliff. I'll go grab my stuff now.
Prophet?
Well met.
Walk west.
It just doesn't work, Master. Walk less.
Yes? Walk blessed. Sure. Where to?
you are. Ready to go? The scar. Well, let's put it this way. If you one day end up in a Talgolian tavern and two 6-foot-tall Arazalian women invite you into their room, you should either damn well know who they are or make a run for it. Never heard of it? It's the capital of Araziel. At least if you ask the civilized people. Hands up. Guilty. Some rich snob had hired me back then to bring him a totem from one of the camps of the Free People. That is, the Arazelians who worship their ancestors' gods, instead of the Lightborn and live as nomads. Since you're part Arazelian, I'll just assume you know a little about the conflict between the civilized and the Free People there. The assassinations, the blood feuds, and so on. The usual, if two sides both believe they're on the right side of history. Anyway, obviously this job of mine originated from that feud. The totem belonged to a free tribe, and the snob wanted it in order to publicly defile it. So I got it for him. Correct. And I was a little drunk and a little lonely, if you get what I mean. Have you ever seen a pure-blooded Arazelian woman in her 20s? It's really hard to say no to that. In any case, as you already noticed, the whole thing went down differently than expected. My face made acquaintances with a table leg and 4 absolutely untender women's feet and hands. And of course, the totem was gone, together with all my clothing and money. I guess I had that coming somehow. That's what happens if you ask your loins rather than your head in the wrong situations.
So much to
Yeah.
do, so little time.
Oh, woe, such a cold world this is. I present you my deepest scars, you thank me with naught but mockery. Be damned, O impish creature. But anyway, how does the saying go? A truly beautiful face can never be tarnished. Facts remain facts. Wonderful. Here, this is the place where the aged man's manor is supposed to be. Lead on. I'll follow you. Eager to explore, aren't you? Take time, Wait, I can use a break anyway.